instead of just your backyard, but it's a snowball fight.
I
I
mean,
a snowball fight. I mean, are you ever really too old for a snowball fight?
no, because you're always throwing snow at people, no
See,
matter how old they are.
exactly. So let's all right.
Clink,
Clink.
how are you?
Oh, perfect and getting better, my man.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute, it feels like, since our last, probably a week.
Yeah, it's been a good amount of time. I don't know how long it really has. We don't talk as much because I'm really busy. Hence why I'm not even at home where I normally do the podcast. I'm at work.
I know. I debated that, but the internet at my office sucks. So I'm like, I'll make it home for this.
Yeah, the internet here is pretty good, not gonna lie.
It's
So
university. I'd hope it was good.
yeah. So I thought I had a different pair of glasses on for a second. I don't know. For some reason, I was just like, which pair do I have on? But no, there's my usual pair.
Okay, good, good. No, it's all good, man. Just keep him busy. Me and Matt, last weekend actually were able to get out. He drove my boat out here to Montana, and we put it on the water, and we actually got some drone footage of it. On a
Yeah, I
real
saw you had a drone. Whose drone?
Jared's.
I was wondering if it was Jared's. I was
Yeah.
like, I saw that you had some like drone footage, and I was like, oh, I wonder who got a drone.
So here for everyone. So Jared doesn't listen to the podcast. We know that. So here's the shit talking time. I'm going to announce it. He got the drone. He's planning to do real estate, like landscape photography with it. I think so, but you got your other job. You got a bunch of other jobs too to manage and do right now. So I don't think you're going to do that. I think he's just using that as the excuse to like buy a drone and spend the amount of money he did on it. But it's a good drone and it was really cool. And I could see why they ban them in places too, because when we were flying it, a bird actually came over and just like hit it, like
No
ran.
way.
Yeah. So like in the footage, you could just see it flying, and I was like, boom.
That's funny.
But the coolest part um, of our adventure is, and I don't think I've told you, but so we took Morel Creek Road right behind Seeley, right? So when you're headed out north of Seeley, there's that weird like flag monument thing.
Yeah.
So you turn right, like right there, and it's a Forest Service road, and it takes you back to these lakes. And it'll actually take you all the way to kind of Ovando and behind the mountains there area. And it actually is the area where it was really burned up in the fires. So
Yeah.
just devastated. And you're looking at like mountain range after like a whole mountain range almost gone by this fire. It was a big fire. And it almost came down towards Seeley. But so then what we did was we took the road at this lake. It goes straight up to a fire lookout, and you can't drive all the way up to the fire lookout, even though there's like the road kind of ends and there's like a gate and it's like for like the people working up there. But you can hike up to there and go like talk to them and stuff. We didn't hike because it was kind of windy and late in the day, and Matt and Jared were wanting to do their own thing. But we on our way down, we were driving down the road and there was a black bear on the road.
Oh.
And we scared the piss out of it because he's like, oh my God, there's like a car, like it's this time of day, it was sunset, and he's like, oh shit. And then he ran right up into the hills. And Jared's like, oh, that's cool. I said, get your drone out. And sure enough, he threw his drone out and he spotted the bear on the hill with it, just walking. And he has this really cool shot of it walking across a log.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So it was like fun to like be like, oh, and then like, but then you could see the drone in the air and then see like, oh, that bear's like right over there, underneath like those trees and in that area.
Oh, that is kind of cool.
So it was cool to kind of do and see, but he was kind of worried about stressing out the animals because they make a noise, animals are curious about them. But to me, a bear is more curious, and bears are very curious creatures because they'll get into garbage. They are, that's just who they are. So I think if anything, they're just gonna be like, what? big bug.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean? So I'm
I
not
mean, you
too
don't know what he could think it is, but
fly. You fly it near him, the bear's going to just go. And
yeah, or like it will run off and you won't be able to catch it. It'll go in those trees,
yeah.
So, I no, I get the worry though of stressing it out. Um,
Oh yeah. That's why we were
so
very respectable about the difference. And then knowing our drone laws and the areas in which we were at, the private land and the state land that allows drones
yeah,
that we were, because there are. I was looking up. I got kind of worried at first, but they have pretty good postings of where and where not. Those are good.
oh, that's good.
Like national parks for sure. And it makes sense. Like it totally makes sense after watching that bird go after it and all that fun stuff. But
That's crazy. That's crazy. I
yeah,
actually realize I have a lot of questions about stuff you've been doing lately because you've done a lot lately.
yeah, I don't know
You,
where you and I last left off, but
well, you did the stuff at Seeley, um, but you also went down to the redwoods.
yeah, I took my family down there.
Yeah, and I haven't heard, because the last time, I believe actually on the last episode, we talked about how your dad, your family, and Thea, everyone's like, oh, they're just trees. They're just
Yeah.
trees. And then you get down there. And so now I want they've been down there report. What did they think
Yeah.
of just trees?
Yeah, and that was a fun trip. Because my family is not necessarily there are a lot of we've done a lot of hotel type of trips when we traveled. So to do an Airbnb together, I think they kind of actually liked it because it was nice, it was easy, to get down there and do it. We actually stayed in Eureka,
Oh, nice.
in that little town south of Eureka.
Ferndale?
No, Port. Uh, it's right where the jetty goes out. We were on the jetty essentially,
South of it?
south of Eureka.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really cool. It was right on the water essentially. Across the street was like the park to like walk on the beach and whatnot. And we were our balcony. You could see the ocean and all the boats. And like I saw some birds flying up in circles and just slam in the water and watching them fish. That was really cool. So we got down there late because it's a long drive down there because of the route you take and that construction where they're always having construction.
did you get screwed by it?
Where we had to wait till like 6 o'clock to go by because it was closed for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
on our way down there, we're driving down there. Our map just reroutes us completely. Completely rerouted us.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a bummer.
So we're like, oh my gosh. So we went down to Crescent City. I showed them the lighthouse. We kind of taught, we got food there in Crescent City. It was good. We were fine. And then we got down to the Airbnb. It was a good Airbnb. Woke up the next morning, kind of took our time getting ready. I took them first to the albino tree.
Oh, you did take them to it?
I wanted to show them that. And then Joe picked up one of the like leaves that have like recently fallen on the ground. Because he's like, look at it, it's like white still. Like by day 2, it was like brown because it's like dead. And he was upset about that. But Joe really liked it.
Did he?
Was about the trees. He's like, oh my God, these things are huge.
They are something.
Well, and then like all the little towns that we stopped in, because we hit a lot of little stops along the way. And I think that's what my dad really liked that. And he was actually in like, wow, this is really cool. Josh was I think he was in awe that he could drive his car through one. Was like, it's just trees still. Just big trees. But my mom liked it. I mean, I think my mom was more for it for the family aspect of getting us all together. And Tyler and his girlfriend, they didn't even do the Avenue of Giants. They basically went as far as Eureka and just like a little past Eureka into the Avenue of Giants.
Oh, really?
They went down by themselves. So like all this stuff, Legend of Bigfoot store, drive-through tree, like she never did that. And like they were like, oh, this is like where it's at.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on that Avenue of the Giants. I mean, the
Well,
albino redwoods there. There's, I mean, it's just a scenic drive in
well,
general.
and that's what we did. We did 101 all the way down to the drive-through tree.
The
And
Chandler tree or whatever.
yes, and we actually ate right there in that town, blanking Leggett. There's a restaurant called the Peg House, right? So it looks like one of those rinkety dink places you see along the road down there. And you're like, are we sure you want to stop at this store? Because we stopped at the place just right after the Bigfoot, where the grandfather tree is by the Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
And we were looking for a place to eat lunch. And they were all done serving lunch. And I asked the guys working the gift shop, and they're like, go down to if you're going down to Leggett, there's a place called the Peg House. It's really good food. So we stopped there and we're like, are you sure? And it was around back. And it was this cute little courtyard. They had like big pots with like gardens in them, tomatoes and pumpkins growing in these big pots. And
Oh, really?
like a stage for live music. And it looked nice. And like the food was really good. It was on like ciabatta buns and like really
Interesting.
yeah. Like it felt very LA,
Yeah. God, that's such a humble thing where like you look at it and you're like, nah, I don't know. And then like you get into it and you're like, dang, this is a pleasant surprise.
But the little market you go in does fit the description of like what you'd see on the outside. The restaurant, completely different.
That's funny. That's
But
real funny.
it was cool. I mean, it was really cool. And then after that, we did the Avenue of Giants on the way back. And I think my parents really enjoyed it. They got to meet Matt's dad and mom because my dad bought teepee poles from them.
Oh, that probably answered a lot of questions they had about Matt.
And not only that, but it added a couple hours to our trip.
Oh, easy. How was Trees of Mystery?
Oh my God. So yeah, on our last day down there, that Sunday, so we came back to Airbnb, did all that, left Sunday morning back north, and we went Trees of Mystery, and it's worth the money.
Is it?
$20 per person.
Oh, that's actually not even bad.
And it covers everything you do. So there's all the different types of trees. They have this little walk. It's like a walkway. It walks you through it, right? You walk through all the different trees, the big trees, I forget what they called it, but it was like the 5 trees standing together in like a row. They have like a really tall, privately owned tree is what it's called, the world's tallest privately owned tree. The ropes course. I mean, I would pay $20 to do that ropes course up in the trees, like because you're walking on like probably from like 5-6 trees on this.
Yeah, I knew that they had like the bridges and stuff like between them.
And it was kind of cool. I mean, there was a lady that was doing it. She got really terrified. Thea was kind of scared herself doing it because when you're up there, you look down and you're like, that's a fall far. And then you look up and you go, that's a big tree. And you're like, I'm like not even halfway up this big tree. And I'm like, this is kind of big.
Dang.
And then they also have a the
gondola.
Yeah, it goes up the mountain. And for us, when we were there, it was really foggy down below. So we were in the fog, and then we came out of the fog, and it was a nice day up on top of the mountain.
Oh, actually, I bet that'd be cool.
It really kind of was, because it's just how you moved through it.
Yeah, well, honestly, my favorite days in the redwood forest is when there's a fog.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
When you get that fog in there, because that's when you really get like, it's got like the like spooky feel, but you don't necessarily feel spooked out.
Yeah, it's an eerie kind of. Yeah, but it's like almost it should belong. When we were out on Seeley, that drone shot we were on. That was a foggy morning. It felt like I like that. Yeah, because it cleared we were out fishing. While we were fishing, in like 20 minutes from when we took that footage, it cleared and it was a bright blue sunny shining day.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we had really good weather when we were down in the redwoods, which was nice too, because you don't get that a lot down there, and that was really pretty and nice.
No. Yeah, I happened to be in Humboldt that same weekend, I think, but I was there for work.
Yeah,
So, and I remember it being a very, very nice weekend.
it really was. And like going out on the beach was nice.
Yeah.
Sitting out on the balcony. It was, I mean, it was really cool. Trees and Mist, they even that gift shop museum they have, it's a lot, they have a large ownership of a lot of Native American relics.
I think isn't it native owned?
I think so. I think they have something to do with the tribe there.
It's like the Klamath tribe is right there.
Yeah. And I think they do have something to do with it. But but what's really cool with the history of like the natives, so they have all the different regions, kind of like here's some stuff here and there. I mean, I was taking pictures because I'm like, that's a cool pattern from the Southwest. That's a cool pattern for the plains for our design ideas of like, oh, look, like here's some ideas that brainstorm of stuff. But I mean, it was cool. I mean, it was definitely, we spent a couple hours there worth the $20. We even ate across the street at the restaurant. And it was really interesting because they have like on the ceiling, they make it look like you're underneath a pond on one side of the restaurant. So it's just like duck feet hanging down and like
interesting.
Yeah. And then the other side is all like fake plants on the ceiling.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's all green.
Yeah. I never did the Trees of Mystery. It was always one of those things where we talked about doing it, but we never actually like would, because I mean it's kind of a trek from Humboldt, like in Arcata.
It's closer to Crescent City.
Oh, much closer.
And I think
so. But I've always had heard good things, but not enough people I knew had actually ever went.
Yeah. No, I'm glad I did it, and I do recommend it because especially if it's helping out a tribe. I gotta look into that to see if the tribe does own it. Because support your tribes, everybody.
Yeah, I know that it's all like tribal area right there.
Yeah.
I just don't know if the tribe owns that or not.
I'm curious because that logo is the Indian on the horse. So
yeah,
I mean, we'll see. But yeah, it was worth it. And then I was in Seeley, and then we even did, when we were up in Seeley, we did a off-road Jeep trail. Which there's a Jeep app you can download. It's called Jeep Badge, and they'll send, if you do certain trails, and it's the only one in Montana that they've certified, they'll mail you a badge to put on your Jeep, because it's basically their way of also saying like, this Jeep has been trail rated on that trail. And like when they trail rate Jeeps, like to say like, that's certified, it's good, because you type in your serial number and everything.
Oh wow, look at you getting all official.
Well, it was Jared's Jeep. But I could probably take mine up there.
So you don't have the cool badge, only Jared does, huh?
I mean, I filled it out, so it's coming. But I'm gonna do mine more. I'm gonna take mine up there and then like give it the badge the same day, kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
I did it, and I know like my Jeep could handle it, which I'm glad.
Okay.
But what's nice is there are some areas where it's like, obviously it can't handle that, but you can bypass that one.
Oh yeah.
They have some of that stuff from like those big ones. Like there's a lot of dirt bikers too. So like there's, where it's like, obviously a car's not going up there. Yeah.
It's the vroom vroom dirt bikers?
Yeah. Like, it's considered an OHV trail.
Oh, okay.
And then I went up to Wolf Point and, did the Wolf Point thing. So just traveling.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot. I've been super jealous, man. Been nothing here. It's been smoky. It hasn't even been fun to be outside.
It's been smoky here too, and like I always forget that like it does kind of affect you and affect me, because like you feel it on your breathing sometimes, right? Like, and I don't necessarily think like that. I'm like, why is this like that today? I feel like my throat's kind of stuffed up, and like when I was up in Wolf Point, there wasn't as much smoke, and it like I was like, oh, like this is fine. And then I got back today, and I'm like, God, this kind of sucks, because down south here, like Billings, we get all you guys' western fires from like Washington, Canada. Like all the wind comes like this way.
Yeah, I know, and I was looking at the air quality for you guys, and you guys aren't too bad. Because the nice part about where you are is it doesn't like necessarily sit like it does for us. Like we sit in this valley right here. So the smoke just comes in and sits. We've been sitting at like the air AQI, the air quality index.
Yeah.
We've been around like I think the lowest we've had this week is like 150.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've been just.
Yeah, we
I
don't
have
have.
to keep track of it all because for work. But yeah, I mean, I've got the map up right now, and you there's a ton of fires and smoke out by you, but your air quality's still pretty decent.
Yeah, we're at 72 right now. It has been bad. These last couple, like this last week, it's gotten bad. We had a cold front, like rain and stuff come through, which was nice. That really helped.
That's
But
what
yeah,
we had.
yeah, exactly. You need that, and Oregon has not got rain this year, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, it has. If anybody out there listening is wanting to actually see the map come wildfire season for U.S. and Canada, they'll tell you in Canada too. You want to go to airnow.gov.
It's good.
Airnow.gov is a fantastic website. It'll show you even where the smoke is, which is kind of cool to sometimes see because for like no real reason at all, you'll see just these like clouds of smoke over the ocean. You're like, well, okay, yeah, it's just because where the wind's blown the smoke and it's just like sitting out there.
In like a pocket. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a cool. Actually, I think that is the same website I was checking out because I was curious where our fire smoke was coming from. Because I mean, like today I can see the rims, but that when I can't see the rims, it's a bad day. And in this Yellowstone River Valley, like you said, like you're more of a mountain valley, and that's like Missoula, Seeley. So when those fires are up in those areas, I mean, that air quality is really bad. You've been to Washington Grizzly Stadium. There, when I was there for the North Dakota State Grizzly game a couple years in like 2016 when the Grizz beat North Dakota State, the air quality was so bad, like you couldn't even see the mountain behind the stands, or like you could barely see like the other stands like through the smoke. And yeah, it was a nuts game.
Yeah, we've had some days pretty close to that.
Yeah, you're right.
Bend over the weekend, they had the worst air quality in the country. They were up in like the 350s for it. Yeah,
That's terrible.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of newer fires, and just the wind comes blowing. Although looking at Montana over there, I mean, you guys have a ton of fires too.
I know at one point in August we had like 77.
Yeah.
But I mean, that fire line is very important. And that's one thing I saw when I was up in Seeley is the fire line that they cut for that fire. You could see some of that in some of the areas, and it's nuts, man. It's just kind of crazy when you think about it. But that's kind of exciting because I mean, we talk about fire with both Andrew and Ray. So go check out those episodes if you want to learn more about that. But I think we're kind of coming close to what we got in store for you guys, huh? What do you say?
Which is, I mean, my favorite segment always, cool shit in nature. Can't forget about cool shit in nature. This week I got two things. I got one thing that really puzzled me watching it.
You know what that means? Time for another commercial break where we get to tell you to like, subscribe, and review our podcast. Whether you're getting that podcast on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, WhatsApp, whatever podcast app you use, you can make it happen.
And don't forget, this is also the time to let you guys know that you can pick up that Wandering Ways swag at the Teespring. Make sure to check it out. The link is in the bio down below or in the episode description. It's even in the show description too if you can't find it in the episode. But you can go on there. You can get your sweatshirts. You can get your shirts. You can get long sleeves, short sleeves. You can even get some socks. It looks pretty cool. Highly recommend. You will be impressing everybody at your next bonfire with some Wandering Ways swag.
You know, and if that's not enough, we're going to tell you to follow us individually on our social medias. You could check me out at the Rugru or Zach of Wandering Ways. You know, check out the adventure firsthand where there might not be any ads.
Exactly. And who doesn't like some good free pub? I need the followers to go up. So I'm going to throw out Reverend Marcus. Check me out on the Twitter, on the Instagram. I do some cool stuff. So please give me the follow. All right.
We also do not cool stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, let's keep wandering on.
I want to show, and then there's another thing too. But this one's the one I really want to. This one's a fun one.
Oh, look at this.
It's super chill, and then just like for no reason, whap.
So orca just like slaps a stingray. I wonder if it hurts it or what it does to it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like it would do something. But what's crazy is, and I mean, the caption for this kind of says it all. Just slaps it for no apparent reason.
Yeah. Well, and I was watching, so I actually saw a video the other day of dolphins doing this with fish. They'll just whack them like 30 feet. Like, just
I saw that same video. The dolphins, they flung them. Like, I mean, a good distance.
Like one threw one over like this bridge.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was like, I mean, these guys went flying.
And it's funny because it's like the way they swim by the fish, and it's like they stop and turn because they see that one, and it's like, I'm gonna put you right up on my tail, and then wham!
Yeah, flings it. Just
Beat
absolutely flings them, which is kind of the crazy part about it.
Yeah, it really was though.
But this next video, I came across it, and I honestly watched it for a while because I was just super like intrigued by watching this. So this guy, for the people just listening, is pouring salt water in these sand holes. And then just as like water gets squirted up and like these, what I'm assuming are clams, start just coming out of the holes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it was so interesting because it's just like he just poured some water in and all of a sudden just
that is kind of cool.
Yeah, right? Because it's something where it's just so odd.
Yeah.
And
that one fell over.
Well, because he's all the way out now.
Yeah, those are clams. Maybe he's fishing them. That's his dinner.
I mean, very well could, but you know,
or she. We don't know who it is.
Yeah, he or she, this person. But yeah, he just pours some water in these holes, and then
they come out.
Yeah.
I was going to say the place I remember the place we stayed because there was some stuff not like this, but the clams, all the clamshells we found. It was king salmon.
Oh! I know
exactly. Out there on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King salmon, California, not to be confused with king salmon, Alaska, which I would argue is a better place than king salmon, California.
You know, I don't know if I sent you the picture because me and my dad were like, we went and got pizza one of the nights, and after we were like, let's drive down to the end of this thing because we see all these cars going down, like passing the Airbnb. Like, where are they going to? There's a big trailer. There was a trailer park down there, and quite a few trailers. And there's this one man. I swear to God, he had like 30 cats on his trailer, and like on the railing, there was probably like 10 of them just sitting there. And me and my dad are like, what the fuck? I'm like, stop the car. I need to take a picture of this. And I sent it to Jared. I said, if you don't change your ways. But we stopped, and the guy came out of his house kind of because he's like, "Why is a car stopping in front of my house?" Had his shirt off and everything. You're just like, "Oh God, like let's go."
Yeah, that sounds about right. That does sound about right.
It was fun though. It was fun.
Oh yeah, Humboldt's a great place. It's an odd place, but it's a great place.
It is.
But anyways, yeah, we're gonna go hop into what we're here to talk about today, and probably why you're listening, because you read the title of the episode, and you've been waiting forever to listen to what we have in store. I know it's a little bit early. We're still in fall or just beginning of fall, but things are starting to be booked more. Permits are starting to become a reason for getting into places, in and out of places. So it's never too early to start planning your winter adventure. And we are going to give our top 5 winter activities, stuff that you can do in the winter. Some of them you can do any time of year. But we think they're extra fun in the winter because the winter adds a whole nother element. Sometimes rain, a lot of rain, sometimes just the cold, and sometimes snow. So anyways, we're going to give off our top 5. We'll start with number 5. And Zach, Ranger Zach, why don't you lead it off?
Yeah. So my number 5, which should come as no surprise, and it actually might be in my heart higher up the list, but for the sake of this episode I put it at number 5. But it is hot springing. I absolutely love to go hot springing, especially in the winter. You're in these 90 100-degree pools, there's snow outside. A lot of the hot springs here in Montana have like drinks or food sometimes you can eat or chill by the pool with that. So it's just a fun experience. Your hair freezes sometimes. It's just fun. In the summer, you're not really hot springing sometimes. I've tried to, like it's an 80-degree day. I don't want to get in a 90-degree pool. I do though. I do like hot tubbing like all the time.
I do.
So if it's, I'll do it in the summer, I'll do it in the winter, but in the winter, it's really fun.
100%. Hot springing in the winter, if you're lucky, there's some snow falling, the steam's kind of rising up. You get nice and hot, and then if you're crazy, this is something I would love to do too. Is you find like a nice cold lake that you can jump into when you're hot, just freeze yourself off, and then hop back into that hot spring.
See, that's where you need to come to Yellowstone Hot Springs right there in Gardner, the new one, because they have a cold pool you can jump in.
Yeah, see that I love being able to get super hot and then jumping in super cold.
Well, and then like you said, the steam and the heat, right? In the winter, that steam is so thick. And what I like, and I'm going to go back to Yellowstone Hot Spring as the example, because of the way that pool, I went there quite a bit last winter. The way that pool works, you can have a lot of people in that pool at once, but that steam almost makes it feel like your little area is just who's there. And people are usually quiet when it's steamy like that. I don't know why.
I don't either. Sitting in a hot spring when it's like snowing and the steam's really going also makes you like, I always, every time I think of it and like I'm in it, I always think of those monkeys in Japan. The ones that just chill in the hot springs all day. I always think about them.
I'd love it. I'd love that life. I mean, the hot springs life is great. The mineral water sometimes is just good for your skin and body.
100%. Oh, so good. Love me some hot springs. Going on to my number 5. This one is a little bit more of a fun one because I think it would be really cool to do out in like a national park or anywhere really out in nature instead of just your backyard. But it's a snowball fight. A snowball fight. I mean, are you ever really too old for a snowball fight?
No, because you're always throwing snow at people.
See,
no matter
exactly. So let's take it and let's like have a beautiful backdrop of Yellowstone or Crater Lake or Glacier with all these all the snowy landscape, and let's have this. I think we should have some fundraisers in the national parks. Get a bunch of people and just have like this huge snowball fundraiser, snowball fight.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm on board. Sign the Wandering Ways team up. Do a little tournament, a snowball tournament. I don't know. It's like dodgeball, but with snow. And
Yeah,
you have a
right.
circuit.
I think it would be so much fun. Just
really
a bunch of people running in like some area in the park, just throwing snowballs at each other.
Lamar Valley.
Oh, that'd be a great place.
There you go.
That'd be a great place to do
You
it.
have the Rangers out. You have a team of Rangers be a team.
Yeah, right. Or what you could also do is like Old Faithful.
That's a good area.
And then the geysers just go off randomly as you're like mid throw.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be.
I like that.
It's simple. It's kind of silly, and not a lot of people probably would think of it, but a winter activity, going out in nature or national park. Let's have snowball fight. Get more people involved.
And just playing around in the snow. It's always a fun time.
Facts. Super facts. Going into number 4.
So my number 4, I don't, I'm a fisherman. I'm going to say ice fishing. It's not always the funnest when you're out doing it because I've never caught anything ice fishing. So, like, you're literally just going to go sit out on the ice or go sit in a shack out on the ice because it's too windy. So that's fun, I guess. No, I like it. It's more about who you're doing it with, why you're doing it, the conversations you have. It's the adventure, not the destination type of journey. And I've been fortunate to go quite a bit. When I lived down in New Mexico, and we'd go up there in northern New Mexico, southern Colorado, and we would do it on snowmobiles where we'd snowmobile in onto the lake and dig your ice holes and fish for a while. And we do it up here in Montana too. On a good day when it's a nice warmer day and the ice is 3-4 feet thick, you can go sit out on the water, on a chair sometimes too, and all that fun stuff with what comes with ice fishing. I've always wanted to go spear ice fishing for pike. I love fishing pike. They make these big like trident things, and basically pike are a curious animal. So you put these little decoys at the bottom of the hole and you wait for the pike to swim over. You just drop the trident on them and
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I've always kind of want to try that just to see, because you see people drop cameras sometimes down their ice holes and they just literally swim up to them. And like, they're a weird fish because they're like an apex predator fish. So they literally like swim right up like that and just like, check it out. Like, okay. Yeah.
They are kind of a weird fish for sure.
They're a snake, man.
Yeah. I was just watching a video. I mean, this isn't ice fishing, or even spear fishing, but this is fishing a different method. And talking about ice fishing and spear fishing reminded me of it. But I was watching this guy that I follow on Instagram, and he's in the back of a boat that's kind of moving, and he had a bow. He just had a bow, and he just and he dead on hit a fish and just pulled it in.
a lot of guys do that for carp, because these carp will do is they'll come to the top of the water so you can see them right there. It's fun, and some of them will even jump out of the water in places. They'll drive a boat right over them. You see them jumping up, and
interesting.
It's some cool stuff, but you really have to know your aim because the water and the
water adds a whole nother element to it. But talking about ice fishing just made me think of it just off the cuff.
Yeah. Well, I tried to take Matt fishing out here in Montana. I mean, we did. We caught him a trout. He cooked it up himself, he said, the next day. But it was bad because we weren't catching any pike. Matt was trying more to catch a woman than catch pike while we were fishing out on the boat because we were still in cell service. And and he's always like, I want to go fishing. I want to catch fish. I want to hunt. And it's like, dude, you got to put in the time. And he's not necessarily one that does that all the time. So he's not successful all the time, but we got him. We went night fishing and we have these glow bobbers And sure enough, man, we're just sitting out at that same pond. You caught that one and like you threw him out of the water.
Oh, the one I call it my hands.
Yeah. So we're sitting there with the glow bobbers, and they're going under the water and stuff. Matt's having a good time. He caught his trout, his Montana trout. He really wanted to catch, so it was good.
Oh, good for Matt. Good for Matt. Going on to my number 4. This is actually something I've only ever done once in my life, partly because I've been super busy in the winter time of year traditionally. Maybe I can go this year because my winters will be more available.
Oh shit!
So catch me out there. But it is snowboarding / skiing. Now I've done snowboarding. That was the one I did. And right now we can go up and it will be like mountain 1 mark 0. So, I feel like I have to go redeem myself, and I want to try skiing because I think it's a little bit different.
Oh yeah.
So, but it's something I really want to do. A lot of people look like they have an absolute blast. There's a girl went to school with. She's off in like Alaska now, and I see her skiing all the time. She does a lot of cool stuff other than just like skiing. She does like backcountry stuff. It's pretty intense, but I see her skiing all the time, and I'm like, damn, looks pretty sweet what you're doing.
Yeah. No, skiing. I mean, Montana, it's big out here. People do it. I broke my leg skiing. Was not fun. That's why I did snowboarding the next time I went out on the hill, which, if we were doing keeping score, I'd say mountain 3, Zach 0 kind of thing. It's fun. I love it. And I like that you put snowboard / skiing because you're going to the same place to do the activity. You can do them together.
Yeah.
And this winter, I know YOLO, our guest we had on last December, he wants to come out to Montana and go skiing because he's been going to Mount Hood, and I'm like, dude, you got to come out here. It's so much better. If Red Lodge gets good snow, arguably one of the best mountains in America because it's cheaper. It's not like Big Sky where it's all hyped up, but it's what like a true ski resort is and was. It's that Americana.
Yeah. Yeah. Skiing, snowboarding. I've only ever done it once. And it was classic, like those old cartoons where you start tripping down the hill and it's all the person at the end. It's a giant snowball with the person in it. That was me, 100%. So it's something I want to do again, hopefully maybe soon rather than later. I can get up and go play around on the mountain.
Oh yeah, dude, that would be fun. And is there any ski resorts down by you down there in Southern Oregon?
Oh yeah, there's literally Mount Ashland you can go skiing. So it's literally in the backyard, kind of.
Well, there you go.
I know. I don't even have to go far, so that might even be worth it.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious. I don't know. I'm not. All I know is Mount Hood, Mount Bachelor type stuff down there. Mount Adams, I think, right? They have.
Yeah, I don't know if Mount Adams does.
Oh, I could be wrong.
But I mean, there's Bachelor, there's Hood, and then there's Hoodoo, which is like Sisters area. There's a lot of snowboarding and skiing out this way. But anyways, we'll move it on to number 3 on our top 5 list of winter activities. Coming in for number 3 for you.
Animal watching. And this is kind of interesting because people are like, what? Animal watching in the winter? There's less people out. There's less activity going on. Even in a lot of wildlife, too, like hibernation with bears, certain animals you're not going to see. But, if you get the chance to go into some of these national parks in the winter, a lot of the animals use the roads for travel because the roads are flat. It's not as hard to walk through in the snow on. So when you go to Yellowstone, you see a lot of bison close to the roads. You'll see fox, like that fox I saw hunting. And the best thing about that fox was, it's not his summer ratty coat. It's his full winter coat. He's out hunting in the snow, planet Earth type stuff, I really like that. The quietness of the snow when you're out there with the animals. When when you're on the river and you see the otters swimming, or very whatever animal that's in the water. That's cool. The deer, you see those more. You can find tracks. You can follow tracks. That's really cool. I like hunting in the snow too, so that's why I throw in animal watching, because it's just a different element added in there. And when you get, I had one morning out here, we were hunting. It was probably -10. It was, sunrise, so like 5 a.m. And we're sitting there in our truck, driving on this, snowy road. And all of a sudden we just see this big owl fly in, right? And it just lands on this post right next to us, sunrise right behind it and everything. And you're just like, oh my God. Like, look at that. Like, that's just beautiful. Like, good morning, thank you, creator, like for just blessing me with, seeing this and being able to respect it and understand it. There's just something about the snow and animals I like, and the possibilities of running into them and the fun they have in it too. Go to the zoo when it snows and see what the animals are doing, because they like the snow too. Some dogs do and some dogs don't. They're fun to watch as well. So I don't know, animal watching in the snow.
I dig it. I feel you on that one. I do feel you on that one.
Yeah.
Going to number 3 for myself. It is sledding. I love me some sledding. Whether it is the old, like, just take a garbage bag, cut some armholes through it, and penguin slide that puppy, or if you got a disc, a tube, you name it, let's do it. The year we went and stayed in West Yellowstone, they had in the park big old slide, like this slide of people were sledding down. They even had a jump that I tried many a times, and I don't think I stuck it once. But because I'm getting probably like 3 feet off the air and off of it when you catch air, and so you're landing hard.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it was a nice hill. I mean, it doesn't have to be just that hill. You need to pick any spot that's got a hill, and you can do some sledding, which is always a fun time. And anybody can go sledding, whether you're really little and you just have them sit in your lap, right? Or if you are super old, you just got to go down the hill on a tube or something.
Well, and some ski resorts will even have like sled hills that they build, nice sled hills that you can ride up and do all that. Living in Montana, there's tons of hills, so tons of sledding opportunities. In our backyard, there was the golf course, and right there was the tee-off box was on this big hill. All the neighborhood kids would come to that hill to come sledding, and there'd be ramps that people would build. It was fun. We'll go down to Red Lodge and sled on. We're cutting down our Christmas tree, go find like a hill to sled on, and I mean I love it. That's actually my number 2.
Sledding,
yeah, because it's fun. Our neighborhood, even the park that they built a whole like park for the kids. So there's a jungle gym, all that, right? Basketball court. But they also, in the hill kind of area of the park, they designed it to be a sled hill. So when the snow falls, there's these different like chutes you can do. So like you can haul down some of them if you start at the top and just go, but it was really cool to do that. And like, that was a fun one. And we would go at night, in high school and stuff. And because, it's fun at all ages.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Sledding is a blast. That's what I remember from when I hiked to the top of Mount St. Helens. The way down, it was basically a big old sled. Now, I didn't have any, I just did it on my pants. But, they had these little canals of the snow, and you just fly on down it. It's an absolute blast to go sledding.
It is. And then what's even more fun is to be pulled behind a sled on like an ATV or something, or even a snowmobile.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's a blast. So that's your number 2, huh?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What's yours? Because
yeah,
kind of merge there.
My number 2 is just snowshoeing.
Okay.
I've gone snowshoeing a couple times now, and it's fun. You just go out, you stay on top of the snow, and it's kind of cool to put on the whole snowshoes and just go trudge around, whether it's a park, maybe it's a lighter hike. a lighter hike trail you normally do, but you're going through some pretty thick snow, so you can do it regardless if you have like 4 feet of snow. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, you feel cool putting on snowshoes because you're like, I'm one of those winter adventurers.
Right?
So yeah, there's a cool factor to putting on some snowshoes. But walking's pretty sweet, and adding a little snow and snowshoes makes it even a little bit sweeter.
Well, that's kind of like cross-country skiing that people do in the winter too. I've never snowshoed. I've always wanted to. I always see them at like the stores. Like I see Walmart sometimes on the clearance aisle will put like their snowshoes there, and I'm like, like $20, like maybe. But then I'm like, no, I'd rather get some like decent ones to where it's like I would make me want to enjoy the hobby, not be like this sucks. Buying Walmart ones being, why would I horseshoe or snowshoe? But yeah, I've always kind of wanted to. I've never done it. I have big feet as is, so my size 15 boots are they act like snowshoes sometimes because I'm only 160 pounds, so I kind of float on top of the snow anyway.
I mean, you're probably not wrong.
Yeah.
You probably do kind of just sit up on the snow like that. But yeah, snowshoeing, it's fun. I've gone a couple times. I haven't lived where there is a lot of snow. Where I live now is probably the area I have ever gotten the most snow. So a lot of these winter activities I haven't done unless I've gone on a trip somewhere. And snowshoeing is one of them I've done on trips.
I feel like that's a lot of our listeners too, though. There's a lot of people that are in areas where, yeah, they might get snow, but they don't get the copious amounts of it like Montana does. And I feel for you guys. I'm sorry. I kind of like the snow. I like driving my Jeep. I've designed my Jeep essentially to handle the snow. Everything on it is like because when I drove a Kia Soul, I would go off the road all the time. So I made sure we're good to go in the snow, which makes no really kind of sense what my number one activity is, but it is snowmobiling.
Oh,
I absolutely love snowmobiles. I'm kind of mad. My dad sold our snowmobiles to my uncle, but at least my uncle has them, and I could be like, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
But last year there wasn't like we had 1 week of snow in Billings. And that was it, which was kind of crazy. But the mountains got some snow and a decent amount. But we, on the other hand, my whole life we've gone snowmobiling. When we lived down in New Mexico, we go up to Chama in the winter, and that's all we did, and that was fun. I mean, we would go in to go ice fishing. We would just go on trail rides. We would go. Just to go. And there was this one day I remember it was really like it was a blizzard. A blizzard hit us because we were the only truck and trailer up that mountain. And the one truck and other trailer we saw, they were on their way out when we were coming in. And sure enough, we went out and it got real snowy on us, and we came back and we're coming around this bend, and it was kind of on a hill, and I'm holding on to my mom, and all of a sudden the snowmobile starts going. We tip right down this hill, roll the thing down the hill, we're down there. My dad drove ahead because the snow's just piling up, right?
Yeah.
It's just fluffy. So the snowmobiles are having trouble finding those spots. So it's loose in areas. So it's really easy to do that kind of stuff. He probably spent an hour getting that thing out of where we rolled it down. We get back on the snowmobiles. We ride them back to the trailer. It was like, why did we do that? But I mean, we kept going back. I even had a little kid snowmobile. Which was fun, like 150 horsepower engine, little tiny.
Yeah.
It was fun, and we would ride it around our house here in Montana, and we'll go out to Jared's house sometimes, and when they have snow on the roads, ride them around out there because they got like a lake. And when you can get out on these lakes like Seeley and whatnot, you can get those things going 70 miles an hour just out on like the lake bed because it's just flat because the ice. Yep. Fun. I love it. I grew up doing it, and I love it. That's one motorsport I would have been okay with, like trying to go pro in.
Snowmobiling.
Yeah.
I dig it. Snowmobiling's fun. I've only ever done it once, and I was a little kid, and I remember thinking it was the coolest thing in the world. And I wasn't even driving; I was just riding.
Dude, get behind the wheel of one of those. Oh, I mean,
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to convince my uncle and Jared to go down to the Bighorns because when we went down to the Medicine Wheel with Matt, there's these giant parking lots that are just for snowmobiles and snowmobile trailers that lead to all the trailheads down there.
Oh, interesting.
So I really want to get into that.
Nice. No, that'd be good. That's a good number one. Snowmobiling. Before I let off my number one, I'm gonna tease everybody with some honorable mentions that I had. Really, there's only one that I want to talk about. It's because I've never done it, but I sure as heck do want to. So maybe instead of an honorable mention, this should be a winter's activity wish list. Something I would love to do, something I haven't done, something I don't know where to do it in all reality. But it's go dog sledding. I would love to try and go dog sledding.
Alaska would be the place, or Canada or Russia. But even Seeley Lake, Montana has a dog sledding club.
See, I don't have to go there. I can go other places. But I think it would be cool. It's just one of those bucket list items. I think it would be kind of cool to check out. I don't know how into it I would get, but
be fun to try for sure.
Oh, sure.
But no, when we were snowmobiling one time up by Seeley, we came across a guy training puppies. So he had like 12 puppies pulling him.
That would be cool. That's what we need on the podcast, is someone that trains dogs for dog sledding.
That would be cool.
That would be a fun one to have on here. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my wish list. I just want to go dog sledding. I think it'd be really cool. But my number one, I know everyone's been super anticipating it, waiting for it, waiting to hear it, because it's a doozy. It's a fun one. Everybody enjoys it. It's hiking. Hiking in the snow is a blast. Now, I know what you're saying. You're probably saying, hey, Mark, that's not that crazy. I can hike any time of year. Add a little snow involved. You hear the crunch of your boots as you walk. There's a silence when you're out there. Sometimes the snow's falling. The snow falls off trees. The views are different. The views are always different in the snow. So it's worth your favorite hikes in the summer. Check them out when there's snow, because it's going to be a different hike. And so I love hiking. Can't go wrong with making hiking your number one in reality.
Hey, and less chance of a bear scare.
There you go, right? Less bears in the winter. That's a huge plus. Snow's pretty. Adding snow to it adds a nice beauty, an awe factor that you don't necessarily. It's different awe and beauty that you get from the spring, from the summer, from the fall. Really, all these hikes you should do them once a season, in all the seasons. That way you can get different views, different enjoyment, different experience out of all of them. Doing them all 4 seasons, or depending on where you live, maybe 2 or 3 seasons that you have.
I like that, because when me and Jared did the Lamar Valley in the winter, that really tight area, kind of where there's like some waterfalls and stuff, the river. So there, when you're driving through that, there's a lot of icicles that form, and the way they look, and up on those rocks, the way the water is dripping down, so it looks just kind of cool, to see. Exactly what you're saying. Go check it out, different time of year.
Yeah, it's beauty. It's grace, it's everything. It's a different aspect. So that's why hiking is my number one for my winter activities. So that's our top 5 winter activities, and since we've gone through all 5, that means it is that time, and I'm gonna be that guy, because it is time for the final words. So final words, my man.
My idea, my thought, which you kind of just inspired there, is to tell our guests, thank you first off, right? You guys are what's keeping this thing going. But I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to go find a location, in your backyard, or, down the street, wherever this may be, where you can experience the seasons. where you can be like, wow, you know, I live in Billings, Montana. I'm doing Phibbs Park, which is a really cool hike, you know, right in my own backyard, right in my town. I could do it in the fall. I could do it in the spring. I could do it in the summer. I could do it in the winter. And I have done it in all those seasons personally. And those things, the leaves on the trees, the animals, the people, the trail itself changes in a sense. So definitely go find that location, go find that place, and you know, you'll be like, wow, thanks. So
I like the challenge. I like the challenge. Do your favorite hikes in a different time of season. That's a good one. I enjoyed that challenge. I think I may take you up on it. Anyways, the Reverend's final words of wisdom is stay beautiful, everybody. You know, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate and love each and every one of the wanderers and all of you guys for listening and sticking around for this part of it. I got a little semi self plug here on myself. I have a like blog website thing, whatever you want to call it, that is not necessarily always nature oriented. Wandering Ways is still on it, so you'll be able to find it through the Wandering Ways aspects. But make sure to check out the Unathletic Trainer. TheUnathleticTrainer.com is the go-to. It'll be in the descriptions probably for this website. You'll find it on my socials, the Reverend Marcus on Twitter, the Reverend Marcus on Instagram. You'll find it. It is the Unathletic Trainer, and basically it is all my health, fitness, sports medicine. Basically, if you want to be a part of my personal nerd outs, it's really whatever I'm nerding out on at the time. It goes up on there. It has my trainings. It has the book that I'm reading. It has little experiments that I like to do on either myself or if I convince people to actually join in on my experiments as well. But please go check it out. It's just something I'm doing, a little side project. And there's also Wandering Ways stuff there. You know, there'll be a little chit chat stuff about Wandering Ways. So if you love the podcast and you love the stuff, check it out. TheUnathleticTrainer.com.
I like it. I'm excited to learn and read more, because I think what you do, I mean, helping athletes and staying healthy and living an active lifestyle falls just in line with what we're doing. You know, you need to be healthy. You need to stay active to go hiking and do the things that we're doing out in nature. And that's awesome that you're giving kind of your recipe, your magic sauce, you know, you're sharing it with the world. So
100%. It's just something to do, get my more fitness aspect out there. But you know, you guys stay beautiful, you're amazing, and all that. With that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.